So, days after the transfer window ended and we ended the video, Damian Kotko broke his lower leg in training. Of all things, literally days after, so that's annoying. We're now the 21st of December though. We've had quite a few matches since we last met. We're in the winter break, and how have we been getting on in the league, the cup, and in Europe? Let's find out together, shall we? Oh, and let's find out what our youth intake preview looks like. So things went off to a very good start. We won 2-0 in the league to win another game in a row, 7 if I recall correctly. And then we beat Arca 3-0 in the cup, before we then beaten 3-0 in the league ourselves. And I couldn't believe my eyes when it actually happened to us. It was one of those games where you genuinely couldn't believe that it was that kind of performance. But we then got held to a 0-0 draw by Leonia, and that was the shock. But you can see the big shock result that we inflicted on Lyon. We won 2-1 against Lyon, and I still can't believe it's happened, even after all this time. I was expecting to be destroyed, and yet we survived. And we won! So, is this the best result we've had to say so far? Apart from the Atletico Madrid win a few years ago, I said this was probably our best win so far, personally, but that's just me. Yet, the next game we had was a 1-1 draw against Cracovia, who, honestly, are not a bad team this year. So I was thinking, okay, we can work around that. We then won 3-1 in the Puchar Polski in a bizarre match where we're taking on Lecce's second team, and at one point looked like we're going to struggle to beat them, which was rather awkward. But we did win 3-1, so there's that. We then took on FC Arguez and beat them to win our second game in the Europa Conference League so far, before Slasted beat us 3-0. It's weird that we had 2 games in 4 matches where we didn't win and lost 4. So that now means, after that 3-0 defeat against Slash, that we've gone 4 games without a win, and we've lost 2 of them 3-0, which I felt weird about because I genuinely couldn't believe we're doing this badly in this period of time, but it is what it is, unfortunately. At least we bounced back with 2 straight wins, first against Wisla Lodz, and then a 2-0 win against Lecce Gdansk. The fact that our 2 defeats so far in this period of the season have been away from home and both 3-0 is concerning. We then hosted our Turkish opponent, and we beat them by 2-0. I was about to try and pronounce their name, then I realised I couldn't, so I decided to give up before I even tried. Before I drew next 2 league games against PS 1-0, a game we really should be winning, quite frankly, and we only failed to win because they scored a penalty, and then we drew 0-0 against Legia Warsaw, a game that, I must confess, probably lucky to have got a point in, but also should have won in this match as well. But at least we won the next game in the Europa Conference League 4-0 to win 4 Europa Conference League games in a row to start off our campaign very strongly indeed, and to all but confirm we are pretty much secure a potential top 8 finish, I hope. At least we then won the next 2 games in all competitions against Koina and then Stahl. We actually had to come from behind against, and Jasinski rescued us in this game. Being 1-0 down for 63 minutes in this match was not ideal, but at least we turned it around with 2 goals in 7 minutes, so that's good. And then we beat Redovic by a goal to 0 from a corner, and I was thinking things are good. Then we lost 2-0 against Rapid, and you know when it just doesn't feel right? It was one of those games that we just did not feel good in, and it was terrible. Then we only drew 1-0 against Budbeck, and it was a game of 2 penalties. They scored a penalty, we scored a penalty. We didn't do anything other than the penalty goal, and it just felt like a flat game, really. We then beat Tieso in the Europa Conference League, and I was thinking, yes, good. We're having good times. That's 5 wins and 6 in Europa League now. That's all but confirming we're doing well. Before we went and hosted Lecce Poznan and lost 3-1 at home after being 1-0 up, and then conceding 2 goals in 5 minutes after we had let it get level for a couple of minutes. It was not ideal, to say the least. But still, despite the fact we lost to Lecce Poznan, we are only 3 points away from Slas, though we are also 2 points away from Lecce, which is not ideal. And we're only 1 point clear of Lecce Poznan, 2 points clear of Wisla Krakow, and 3 points clear of Cracovia, which tells me that we're not guaranteed European football yet, which again is not ideal to say the least. I want to get my crown back. I also don't want to let Slash be a 5th different winner in 5 years, because it would mean we have not won a league title in 4 years. I want my crown back. Also, yes, Lego Warsaw are in 14th place. They're in a really bad year. They've just sacked their manager. They've also just hired a new manager. And Omar Edwards has got his biggest job yet. Congratulations to him. My former under-18s manager. Honestly, love the guy to bits. He's done such a good job to get this into his position after losing Rakov. And yeah, I think they're in Europa League still, so there's that. And hopefully they'll do well in it. I'm also checking the 2nd tier, and Pagon are in this division still, and they should be promoted. They've also lost 5 times, which quite frankly is kind of embarrassing for their point of view, but okay, it is what it is. So in the cut, we've got Wisław Kraków next, and I genuinely don't know who you could be getting, but this team, again, seem to find themselves in the quarterfinals a lot, which is very weird to say the least. I don't like it, but it's happened. They have Slask. Though, there was this game, which is literally either a 3rd tier side in Olympia, or my affiliates, who are also in the 3rd tier, Odra Abel. So there's a semi-final possibility where we can get a 3rd tier side. I would love that myself. Have either Slask and Lecce take on each other, and then knock each other out or something in the semi-final. We get an easy tie. I hope. Either that or they just beat each other up. It's one of the 2 things I want to see happen, but 2 3rd tier sides in this quarterfinal, and they're tied against each other. Perfect. I want whoever wins that game, really. But still, let's talk about the Europa Conference League. We got 4th place, so we're already through to the next round. We finished ahead of Lyon because we beat them 2-1, and results between teams does matter. Torino are probably grateful that they were not any lower, and we were not all lower at all. What you're going to see is Lecce also got a top 8 finish, but they finished ahead of Atletico Madrid and Banik Estrava. Lecce drew against Atletico Madrid and got 8th place. It is the funniest thing possible, and the fact they got the same goal difference as well makes this even better. So let's look at this in more detail. The reason they finished ahead of Atletico Madrid was because they scored 1 more goal than they did, and results between teams held them out. So who did they beat comfortably? Well, we can thank Havner Botafogo for this opportunity. They beat them by 6-0. The team from the Faroe Islands, who actually did get a win against Vadeas of all teams, who ended up not getting a single win. But hey, we've got 2 teams in the top 8 of the Europa Conference League. The Europa League's not finished yet, but let's check it out either way. In a bizarre twist of fate, Panathinaikos are top of the Europa League table, and I can't believe I'm even saying that with a straight face. I have no idea who they're taking on yet, but they've got Reims, who they drew against, and they've beaten Stuttgart, Groningen, Rennes, Dinamo, Batumi, and Anderlecht. So they've not even beaten some easy teams here. They've actually beaten quite a few difficult sides, so fair play to them. They've actually done well, and they're ahead of Napoli, Manchester United, and Gladbach. As for our teams, well, Legia are 25th. They've got 2 wins in their first 6 games. They beat Dinamo Tavisia, and they beat Cologne. Oh, okay, they beat Cologne, but they've lost to Napoli. I mean, Napoli, Newcastle, Gladbach, I can't blame for losing. Rennes, maybe yes, but then you realise that Rennes have also gone unbeaten in their first 6 matches, so maybe it's not as shocking as you think. But then you got Lecce Poznan, who are down in 3rd tier. They've only beaten the team that we beat in Konyaspor, and they drew against Göztepe, who I think are Turkish. Yes, they're Turkish, actually in 15th as well. But they've lost to Starts, Cologne, Fiorentina, Gladbach. Start, they've only won 1 game against Lecce Poznan. That is... Can I feel annoyed? I feel annoyed by this. The fact they've literally only won against that team. Why are you losing to Start? Come on. So now, let's look at the youth intake preview. We're expected to get a good fullback, 2 good wide midfielders, a useful winger, and a forward as well as a defender, a centre-back no less. Which is good. We've got about 6 players that should be potentially good. If my maths is correct, it is. Thank you. But yes, we should be expecting 6 players who could be doing quite well for us, and I'm expecting good things. even if we're not expecting much from centre midfield, goalkeeper, attacking midfielder, wingbacks, or DMs. To be honest with you, I don't need a lot in the midfield or the DM's position. We've kind of got bloated in that area. Wingbacks, I don't use. Attacking midfielders, I don't use. Goalkeepers, we don't have a major problem there. So honestly, all the areas we're getting improvements in are areas I want improvements in. So this is promising to say the least, if we get where we want there. So far, so good. Our best players have been the top 3, and we're going to talk about them right now. Bolak has got an average rating of a 7.25, 2 goals and 2 assists so far. Alexander Supreme, while he's not been very good in the last 5 matches, has also got an average rating of a 7.23 with 8 goals and 9 assists. Robert Kowalski has been injured for quite a bit of the season actually, so has played quite a bit less than everyone else, but has still got 16 goals and 3 assists with an average rating of a 7.22. Yes, I like to think that Bolak is easily our best DM now, and he is a leading player for the division. He likes big matches, loves big matches, slightly inconsistent, but is still quite good for the role and has been proving himself over and over again. And at the age of 22, might not have a lot of room to grow, so I think having a leading player as a DM is quite good for us, and having a resolute personality is also better. Alexander Supreme is also inconsistent, but also likes big matches. We're starting to have people who can enjoy big matches. He's also only a good player for this division, which is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. He also gets a bit competitive at times, but can also play as a striker and a winger, so useful to have the options there either way. Robert Kowalski has been injured a lot this year. He is one of our few teams. He's only a good player for this division now, but also likes big matches and also is a driven personality. So you're starting to see why they are the better players. They enjoy the big matches. Yes, he's not inconsistent or consistent, but he likes the big matches. He's got the personality for the role and he's enjoying himself. And also most of them, I think if not all of them, are all 22 now. So our best 3 players are 22 and they like big matches. I don't think that's a coincidence, to say the least. Financially, we've got 64.9 million in the bank now, and it's been around that for the last couple of months, which is very promising, to say the least. And I'm hoping that we can keep this going. Also, look at the wage budget. We've got £500,000 a week to use here, and I've got to make this very apparent. If I wanted to adjust my transfer budget, I could probably make it to 50 million if I really wanted to. But I don't need to spend money. I can't spend transfer money. I can't buy players. I can't even loan players. It's bizarre how much money we've got in both the transfer and wage budget to spare, and yet I can't use the transfer budget at all. I can't even reduce the transfer budget because of how much money we've got in the bank. Also, I can't upgrade the youth facilities because of the club's reputation only being a 3-star team. If we get to 3.5 stars in reputation, we can finally improve the youth facilities, which is what I'm waiting for. Stadium, I could buy a stadium, I could build a new stadium or expand a stadium, but I don't want to do that yet because I generally don't know what the board is going to do. Also because I think they'll probably sell my best players for cheap, so that's why I'm not using any of this money right now. I want to send rich so I don't lose my players who I want to keep on stupidly low fees. It's why I'm not touching this at all. I think the chairman is an idiot, and I think he'll just sell our best players to make sure we're back after rich again. I don't trust him at all. This is why I'm not touching it in the slightest. But what I'm going to do is end this here. We have a chance for a League, Cup and European treble this year. Not likely to happen with the European thing, but we have a League and Cup double we could potentially get this year, and I want to try and get it. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you think we can pull it off? And if not, why not? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that down below. But either way, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.